and Madame Jane Mensah, in the company of deputies, Dr. Bosman Asari. They have just arrived also. And we are seeing also the arrival of the lead counsel for the second respondent, Mr. Akutuampao, has also just arrived, going through the COVID-19 protocols before making his way into the courtroom, even as we speak. So when you begin to see these faces arrive in court, it's always an indication that proceedings will begin shortly. Mr. Frank Davis is one of the lawyers for the second respondent, making his way in the company of some of his aides as well to the courtroom, and the minister designate for Justice, the Attorney General and Minister of Mr. Godfred Yabuadame, also making his way to the courtroom right now, and so gives you an indication that today promises to be quite exciting in court, given the fact that when Dr. Michael Pesa-White was cross-examined, a number of issues came up, and Mr. Metal Nunu's name rather came up because he did indicate at the time that he was instructed, they were instructed by the EC chair to leave the strong room of the EC and go and confer with the presidential candidate at the time. The lead spokesperson for the second Nkrumah has also deputy minister for the same ministry. He has been in that ministry for close to 4 years now. That's another leading member of the New Patriotic Party, Mr. Gabi Asari Ochiridako. He's also a lawyer, and he and others are going through the COVID-19 protocols. Just again, a quick reminder of the issues that the court has set out for determination. And so, of all the issues and all the drama that may be in court, it all boils down to 5 very significant issues. And so even as you watch the proceedings, even as you listen to the lawyers, even as you watch all the drama unfold and all the emotions, these are the 5 issues that the court will be setting out. And I quote exactly what the court says. The court says, "We have considered the petition and answers to same by the respondents and the memoranda of issues set down by the parties. We accordingly set down the following issues for the determination of this petition." And so these are the issues the court has set down for the determination of these issues, nothing outside of these 5. Number 1, whether or not the petition discloses any reasonable course of action. Number 2, whether or not, based on the data contained in the declaration of the first respondent and the second respondent as president-elect, no candidate obtained more than 50% of the valid votes cast as required by Article 63(3) of the 1992 Constitution. Again, whether or not, and this is point number 3, whether or not the second respondent will still met the Article 63(3) of the 1992 Constitution threshold by the exclusion or inclusion of the Techiman South constituency presidential election results. Again, the issues have to do with number 4, whether or not the declaration by the first respondent dated 9th of December 2020 of the results of the presidential election conducted on the 7th of December 2020 was in violation of Article 63(3) of the Constitution. Whether or not the alleged vote pardon and other errors complained of by the petitioner affected the outcome of the presidential election results of 2020. Nana B is one of the spokespersons for the legal team of the second respondents. Welcome, sir.
Oh, thank you very much.
So again, the last time the court sat, Mr. Robert Joseph Metonunu was expected to be cross-examined. Of course, your side raised concerns, two concerns really. The first had to do with the fact that you were not too sure which other persons would have been with him in the same room, even as he answered the question. So you asked for a judicial officer to be there with him. Then number two, you raised concerns with some of the paragraphs. Indeed, 23 of them, 5 of those were struck out, the rest were maintained. As we go to court today, are you still expecting a judicial officer to be there with Mr. Robert Joseph Metonunu even as he's cross-examined?
Oh, obviously, I think this need not be said. I mean, clearly, from the concerns raised by lawyer Kotampao, and you recall that it was not even opposed by counsel for the petitioner, Mr. Chachuchi Kata. He also concurred to that view. So court halted proceedings for almost about 20 minutes, and then within that 20 minutes, a judicial officer was dispatched to where Mr. Metonunu is receiving medical treatment. So today I'm sure he's going to follow the same procedure, and then Mr. Metonunu will be reminded of his earlier oaths, and then the cross-examination would commence. So today we should see the cross-examination of Mr. Rojo Metonunu commencing. Yeah.
Right. We do not want to preempt what will happen in court, so we will definitely speak to you after proceedings today. That was Nana Boache, who is a lawyer, but also one of the spokespersons for the legal team of the second respondent, in this case, Nana Adodanko Kufado. We'll go back to the studio where we have a team standing by to break down the issues even as we prepare to go to court, to the courtroom today.
All right, welcome back. And that was Abdulhai Mumin, who is at the Supreme Court, and he brought out exactly what to expect at the Supreme Court. We have less than just 5 minutes for us to move back because proceedings starts at 9:30 on the dot. And ever since we started this entire hearing, we've started right on time from the justices themselves at the Supreme Court. We'll be talking to our usual resource person who's been with us from day one. He provides us with education. He provides us with understanding of the various issues that goes on in courts. The objective is for you to understand the various legal languages, the various legal terms, the legal proceedings, and whatever happens there in court. So that's what he does for us, not to go into the cases itself, but just to give us an understanding of what's really happening. It's Dr. Kwekwajiman Budu, and he is a law lecturer. He's also a lawyer at and also the head of Law Center's Gimpa Faculty of Law. We'll quickly see if we have him on the line for us just to pick one or two thoughts and comments from him. Then after that, we'll take you back to the Supreme Court for the proceedings to begin. Doc, good morning to you.
Good morning, George. How are you doing?
I'm good. How about you?
I'm doing well, by God's grace.
All right. I hope you had a restful weekend.
Can't complain.
Okay, all right. Just briefly, I know we don't have much time now before we go to the Supreme Court, but just briefly, what to expect today, following what happened on Friday. Then maybe after a break from the Supreme Court, we can go details into some of the issues.
Yeah, so what will happen is, it follows from what happened the last time we met on Friday, that the witness, the third witness of the petitioner, had been sworn in to give his testimony, and we realized that objections were raised to certain paragraphs or certain statements made in his witness statement, and the court struck out some of them and left some of them intact. So what will happen, or what we expect to happen, is that the testimony will be adopted, or the witness statement will be adopted as his witness statement or his testimony, and then the cross-examination will begin by the first respondent's counsel and then the second respondent's counsel, and if there's any re-examination, that will happen as well. We know that the court gave directions that ideally a day each will be spent on the cross-examination of witnesses. So that's in essence what we expect to happen today.
All right, Doc, we'll leave it there. Just on that brief note, we'll go for a quick break. When we return, we'll take you to the Supreme Court. Stay with us. This is Ghana Television. This is Unique 95.7, and this is GVC News. We'll be right back.
I am 7 years old. I am 4 years old.
We are 12 years old.
It's been 1 year since I started my antiretroviral treatment.
You can live a long, productive life with antiretroviral treatment. With antiretroviral treatment, HIV-positive expectant mothers can have healthy HIV-negative babies. Go to the nearest health center, test and know your HIV status. If you are positive, ask about antiretroviral treatment and you will receive help. Antiretroviral treatment is your only option for a long and fulfilling life.
This advert is brought to you by the Ghana AIDS Commission and the National AIDS Control Program of the Ghana Health Service with funding from the Global Fund.
When you need a stroller to cry, one of my campaigns, so we I was suicide. Let bygone be bygone. I can't see what I'm gonna do. We go straight to start. I'm gonna take you to next level. Baby, oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Energy next level. Baby, oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Take you to next level. Baby, oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
I don't code this level. Excessive drinking can be detrimental to health. Not recommended for persons under 18 years, lactating mothers, pregnant women, and people sensitive to caffeine. This advertisement has been vetted and approved by the FDA.
This advertisement has been vetted and approved by the FDA.
Hey, good papa. Ganabam, if your what your waist, all your body, you make bazaar.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Ghana Bob, young Tom, that one, I first at Tabaconti, I found 20 cities.
You say the Ghana come, sound true, so if you have Ghana, you can resist.
I'm 7 years old.
Beep, beep, beep.
I am 4 years old.
We are 12 years old.
It's been 1 year since I started my antiretroviral treatment.
You can live a long, productive life with antiretroviral treatment. With antiretroviral treatment, HIV-positive expectant mothers can have healthy HIV-negative babies. Go to the nearest health center, test and know your HIV status. If you are positive, ask about antiretroviral treatment and you will receive help. Antiretroviral treatment is your only option for a long and fulfilling life.
This advert is brought to you by the Ghana AIDS Commission and the National AIDS Control Program of the Ghana Health Service with funding from the Global Fund.
This advertisement has been vetted and approved by the FDA.
Hey, good papa. Ganabam, if your what your waist, all your body, you make bazaar.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. charge me?
20 cedis.
This is a tobacco. Ghana Bab, young to Emma, FS at tobacco, FN Chubi, 20 cedis.
Hey, Nemo, say the Ghana Bab come. Sound two, so it may come Ghana Bab. You can resist.
And they call me UJ. When you need a shoulder to cry, run on my pumpy, so we try our suicide. Let bygone be bygone. I didn't see what the bottom go do. We go straight to stardom. I go take you to next level. My baby, oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Energy next level. Back baby, oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Take you to next level. My baby, oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
I don't code next level. Excessive drinking can be detrimental to health. Not recommended for persons under 18 years, lactating mothers, pregnant women, and people sensitive to caffeine. This advertisement has been vetted and approved by the FDA.
Don't forget the balloons,
check,
the DJ,
check,
and the drinks.
Listen, honey, I've got this party under control, okay?
Daddy, don't forget our birthday cake with the sparkly candles. Daddy, are you there?
The party's at 4 p.m., honey. Don't be late.
With the all-new CowPay on the CowBank app and website, you don't have to worry about carrying cash. Just place your order with your favorite merchant and pay with a Visa or MasterCard, mobile money or CowBank account, or scan and pay. Visit the Play Store or App Store and download the CowBank app today. CowBank app. Forget to cash.
CowBank. Forward together.
And they call me UJ. When you need a shoulder to cry, run on my pumpy, so we try our suicide. Let bygone be bygone. I didn't see what the bottom go do. We go straight to stardom. I go take you to next level. My baby, oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Energy next level. Back baby, oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Take you to next level. My baby, oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
I don't code next level. Excessive drinking can be detrimental to health. Not recommended for persons under 18 years, lactating mothers, pregnant women, and people sensitive to caffeine. This advertisement has been vetted and approved by the FDA.
Get that testimony outside court. That's exactly what we saw. So because it is connected to court proceedings regardless, but for those circumstances that prevent the person from coming into court, that person would have been testifying in court. It is necessary that a judicial officer or some other officer appointed by the court is there to administer the oath, for instance, and be there to ensure that that person is not being coached, for instance, or not being told what to say. Because if you were testifying in court, or in open court, you wouldn't have the opportunity of your lawyer or any of the other parties from telling you what to say and what not to say and giving you cues and all that. So that's the safeguard measure that exists. And as you saw, counsel for the petitioner did not even oppose that. He understood the necessity and the need to ensure that it is an open playing, it's a fair playing field, so that the other parties do not think that something untoward is ongoing.
At the end of Friday, we realized that 5 out of the 23 paragraphs of which the second respondent raised objections to were struck out. Now, in striking that out of the witness statement, what exactly does it mean?
It means that the witness cannot simply speak to those things, to those statements. Remember, we've stated right from the beginning a number of things. That, for instance, when you, in your pleadings, in your statement of case or statement of claim, or in your petition, in this particular instance, you need to plead facts, material facts that you believe support your case. And it is when you call your witnesses that the witnesses will, through them, provide evidence that will connect those facts or will make those facts more probable. So that if your witness does not have, for instance, he provides evidence that is not grounded in the pleadings, nothing in the pleadings suggested that such evidence would be adduced, then that can be struck out so that you can't rely on that. Also, if the witness testifies to things that are not within his personal knowledge or could not have been within his personal knowledge, that can also be struck out. And we've seen that happen in this particular proceedings. You remember that with the first witness's testimony, I believe Johnson Asiedu, a number of paragraphs were struck out. One of the reasons was that some of them were frivolous and scandalous, and so the court was able to strike those out so that he could not testify to those matters. That's all that it means. It means that your witness statement will be as though those particular paragraphs were never included, so they can't be relied upon, and you can't adduce evidence to give effect to those facts.
What if it is interestingly brought in during re-examination?
It can't, and like I was saying, that the scope for re-examination is quite limited. So there are certain things that you can't even go into. Re-examination mainly is an opportunity for the person or the counsel for the person who called the witness to sort of allow the witness to explain certain matters that may have come about during the cross-examination. And we know that during cross-examination, the idea sometimes is to show that a witness is not credible, punch holes into the witness's testimony. So the re-examination may be an opportunity for you to seal those holes if possible. But re-examination is not an opportunity for you to introduce new matters completely. The scope is quite narrow, and so you can't, through re-examination, try to bring in matters that have not been dealt with originally. The counsel for the other side will definitely oppose that, and it most likely will not be allowed.
All right, we're still waiting for the Supreme Court, though, but since we still have some time, let's move now into details, exactly some of the things that came out on Friday. First of all, it's got to do with the second respondent raising issues that some of the paragraphs that they seek to strike out were not pleaded for, and issues concerning evidence also came in play here, and how best all these two things can be factored into the witness statement so that we can have a clear understanding of what is pleaded for and what the evidence states and what the witness statement also talks about.
So, pleadings, I believe you're asking, your question basically borders on the essence of pleadings and how the evidence is used to connect those and all that. So for the proper conduct of cases, the parties involved must inform one another of their respective cases. This is known, and this is what is done through what is referred to as pleadings. And this is to enable all the parties to the particular suit prepare adequately so that they're not unduly surprised or embarrassed for that matter. So pleadings in a civil case, like I've said before, will comprise the statement of claim, the statement of defense or counterclaim, if any, the reply, and sometimes there can even be a rejoinder, rejoinder, rebuttal, rebuttal, and so on and so forth. But the functions of pleadings, as I've noted before, is was set out in a case called Hammond and Odoi. That pleadings benefit not just the courts, but the parties involved in the suit as well. So the pleadings will form the respective or the basis of the respective cases of the parties, and the pleadings therefore bind and circumscribe the parties, and as a result, it places some fetters on the evidence that they can or they are able to lead. So what the pleadings does is that it is the true and substantive merits of the case is what the pleadings essentially do. So your pleadings, you must plead the material facts And these material facts are the facts that are necessary for the formulation of the course of action or defense, whatever the case may be. So that's why we say that it is facts that are to be pleaded and not law. Because at that point in time, you are pleading the facts, and it is the court that will make a determination or finding of the legal effect of those facts. You understand? Yeah. So, but even though we know that facts must be pleaded and not law, there are certain instances where a point of law may be pleaded. If you look at the High Court Civil Procedure Rules, CI 47, there's an opportunity to plead a point of law. And a point of law simply alleges that a legal conclusion can be drawn from the fact that are pleaded. And this is done to sort of destroy the claim that the person is making or the defense of your opponent. So, for instance, you can plead a point of law in regard to jurisdiction. For instance, that the jurisdiction of the court is not even, the court does not have jurisdiction in that particular matter. So that if the person is suing you in the district court or in the circuit court, but had to use another forum, you can plead a point of law, for instance, that court does not have jurisdiction, or that the plaintiff.
Doug, we'll leave it here. We'll leave it here, and we'll continue when there's a break. So, Doug, thank you very much, and we'll move straight to the Supreme Court to continue enjoying today's proceedings. Stay with us.
Respectfully, my lords, writ number G1/5/2021. John Dramani Mahama versus Electoral Commission of Ghana. Nana Ado Dankwa Akufo-Addo. Please, who is representing the petitioner? Samuel Ofosu Ampo, for my lords, who is representing the petitioner. My lords, Jane Mensah, chairperson, representing the first respondent. Mr. Peter McMahon, representing the second respondent.
If your lordships please, I appear for the petitioner, and with me my learned friend Tony Litha. May it please my lords, Justin Amenuvo appears for the first respondent, with me A.A. Somoa Asamoah.
If it pleases your lordships, I appear for the second respondent. Who was with me are my learned colleagues Frank Davis, Kweku Esefu, and Yao Pong.
I believe we adjourn after your ruling. We would request before the cross-examination begins that the tape that was tendered as part of the witness statement be played, respectfully. There's a tape that was tendered as part of the witness statement. Yes, my lord. My lord, it's tendered as part of the evidence in chief.
Yes.
And so
he was sworn in and his witness statement was adopted on oath. So we think after cross-examination we can put it in.
I'm sorry, after cross-examination?
Yes. Or maybe you think maybe they will cross-examine on that.
Exactly. So it would have been better if it's played before. My Lord, I mean, that's what I thought, my Lord.
To
I believe they are coming here because I needed to always have some partner talking about and say, speed, okay, to recheck whatever. What do you remember that 1 hour before the declaration? What happened? Did they leave?
They left. Do I remember former Ghana's ambassador to Zimbabwe?
Tamaklo?
Tamaklo.
Yes, Sylvanos.
Sylvanos came looking for
them.
Them. But specifically, he was looking for Rujo.
Okay.
So he stood there and said, "Oh, they just went out. I think they will come because their laptop is here." So he too was hanging around. Later, I was going to use the bathroom, but I saw him. I said, "Well, they will come. Try and call him." So I just went to the bathroom and came back. He was still standing. When I came, they were not there. But we were waiting for Sabelugu and then certification of, I think, Bono East.
Okay.
Later, Bono East came, GUM side, MPP side, CPP side.
But NDC were not there.
NDC were not there.
So there's a story from the coalition room. There's a narrative that came out. Rojo Metal Nunu and
Mr.
Let me be reminded
Hello? My lord, are we ready to proceed?
You just have to remind the witness of the former oath.
Okay. Mr. Robert Ojo Methodonu, on the 5th of February 2021, yes, you swore on the Bible to testify in this election petition to speak the truth, nothing but the truth. You still stand by it?
My lord, I stand by the oath I took as a witness, yes.
So you are reminded of that oath. My lord, witness is reminded of the former oath.
Mr. Metununu, prior to you going into the strong room, did you familiarize yourself with the rules governing the 7th December elections?
My lords, yes, I did. I believe you are referring to CI 127.
Exactly so. Now, you know that under CI 127, the collation results that came to the EC headquarters that you describe as a strong room are only the presidential election results regional summary sheets from 12. Is that correct?
That is not the only information. That is not correct.
Now, if you look at the rules, what are you to receive from the regions? Tell the court.
In CI 127, the functions of the regional collation officer.
No, I'm not talking about the regional. I'm not talking about the regional collation officer. I'm talking about what you receive in the strong room. If you want to read, you need to seek permission from the court.
No, you asked me an initial question that do I know the procedure, the processes in the strong room? And I said that the regional results as submitted to the strong room should not just include the summary. It should include the 275 constituency results that make up that summary.
Oh.
You cannot present the summary without justification of the summary. So logically, the summary is justified in terms of verification by the representatives of the presidential candidates in the strong room by confirming that the additions of the summary are indeed true and accurate before you certify.
Now, let's move on. You granted an interview on the premises of the EC on the 8th of December 2020 to Kwesi Parker Wilson of Dry FM. Do you recall?
Yes, I do recall.
Now, in that interview, you stated that, among other things that you said that the NDC had deployed 275 lawyers throughout all the constituencies in Ghana. Do you recall?
Yes, I do recall.
You also said that your party had deployed over 16 lawyers to all the regional centers in Ghana. Do you recall?
I do recall. That is correct.
Did those representatives of yours, did they perform their roles diligently?
The legal representatives of the party, as deployed in the 275 constituencies and in the 16 regional coalition centers of the EC, perform their duties, but they are not the returning officer of the EC. They are not the returning officer of the EC.
Now, if they perform their duties diligently, it presupposes that under the rules, the set of forms that were being churned out, they at every time had duplicate copies. Is that agreed?
The legal representatives were not the assigned persons to have the duplicate copies. It was the party's election directorate that was mandated by the party to assemble and receive the pink sheets as declared, the duplicate pink sheets.
And those duplicate pink sheets were received by the agents appointed by the petitioner at each constituency and, for that matter, the regional level. Is that correct?
If you are referring to the pink sheets that were officially handed over at the end of the collation, yes, that is correct. But in some other instances, many other pink sheets also started to appear.
Now, we'll go on. You have testified that you made a mistake in certifying the Ashanti regional summary sheet in your paragraph 11. Is that correct?
My lords, I indicated that I made a mistake on the Ashanti summary sheet declaration in the EC strong room for very specific reasons.
Now, when did you realize that mistake?
I haven't finished answering the question, please. Your lords, I haven't finished answering the question.
You are not to repeat your statement. Just answer the questions and let's move on, please. I'm asking the questions.
I've answered the question and I have supporting arguments for the answer I've given you. Am I not permitted to elaborate on that?
You are not supposed to make arguments. You are just to answer my questions.
I'm not arguing with you. I'm not arguing with you, my lords. I'm not arguing with you. I'm saying you have to give me a fair opportunity to answer the question. I'm a witness. I must be given a fair opportunity to answer the question.
I am saying that the next question I have for you is that would you tell this court when you realize this monumental mistake of yours? Tell the court.
Which monumental mistake are you referring to?
You are saying that in the summary, in the national headquarters of the EC, you made a mistake in certifying the Ashanti results. That is a monumental mistake. So tell this court when you realize that. Paragraph 11 of your witness statement. Tell the court.
Subsequent to my signing. Now let me go back a little bit. Before the signing, I had opportunity to speak to Dr. Sribwopaku about my concerns that I had observed. I drew Dr. Sribwopaku's attention to some observations that I had made on the summary sheet. And then he said he was going to make phone calls to the region to find out the concerns that I had raised.
No.
Indeed, he made some phone calls. So it is not as if I just got up and signed. There is a sequence, there's a process that led to me finally signing. There's a process. But I did complain initially to Dr. Pap and he made phone calls to the region.
Are you aware that after you were denouncing what Goja Jemfi had done, one of the lawyers you sent to the Ashanti region, Victor Kojogan Adaudu, came out to speak against what you were doing because they, the legal team, after certifying everything, told Goja Jemfi it was okay to sign Ashanti. I'm putting that to you.
I am not aware that the lawyer said anything contrary to what I was doing in the strong room. I have no knowledge of that, my lord.
It to you. It was all over in the social media and on the media as well.
No, you're asking me to testify, and I'm saying categorically that I have no knowledge of it. Social media was not available to me in the strong room. I'm sorry.
You also stated that, you know, in order for me not to look like a troublemaker, I also certified some of the forms. It's in your evidence in chief. Do you recall that paragraph 21, I think?
I specifically indicated that I was cooperating fully with the Electoral Commission as a representative of the presidential candidate I was representing. I had a mandate to be there to seek his interest, and I was cooperating with the EC in that regard. There are previous instances of how the EC conducts the business of the strong room, and that includes the opportunity for representatives of each political presidential candidate to explain or to seek explanation and to discuss issues as when they arise in the strong room.
Let me read for you what you said in paragraph 21. You said, I must also say that the fact that I signed sheets in respect of a number of regions shows clearly that my colleague and I were not there to put spokes in the wheels of the process of getting the proper basis for a constitutionally appropriate declaration of the results of the presidential election to be made. So I'm asking you that of the forms that you certified, you said you made a mistake on some you didn't want to put the spokes work. So tell the court, which forms did you certify that you were satisfied with, and which forms did you certify that you made a mistake?
Can you kindly repeat the question, please? You were speaking too fast. I couldn't hear you.
I say, in one vein, you are telling the court that I made a mistake in signing some of the forms. In another vein, you said, oh, you know, I do not want to put spokes in the works, so I signed the forms. Tell this court, because you have signed quite a number of forms, 13. Tell this court, which ones did you sign making mistakes, and which ones did you sign not wanting to put spokes in the works?
Very well, my lords. To the best of my knowledge and recall, if I may be given a little time to pick up the summary sheets, I'll take them one by one.
My lords,
Counsel,
we had issues.
Permission,
excuse me. With the Greater Accra,
Mr. Martinunu, please, if he wants to refresh his memory, I think you can ask for leave, but we will not allow him to be looking to processes which we don't have access to and not in evidence to be answering questions.
Oh, well, that's appropriate, and I think that is an indication that we shall give to him. You are not allowed, without leave of the court, to refer to documents unless we ask for leave. And if you want to refer to documents, you need to tell us what you want to refer to refresh your memory. And then we ask the court for leave. So what documents were you seeking to refer to?
The the first respondent's lawyer was asking me to specifically indicate the regional summary sheets that I signed or certified that later I had problems with.
So that we found, a common path to where we are going. He is asking you a question. Respond. He said, which document are you trying to look at so that you ask the permission of the court to allow you to do so? Period.
My Lord, I'm looking at the 16 regional summary sheets. 16 of the regional summary sheets.
And where did those summary sheets come from?
The summary sheets that I'm referring to are summary sheets that were made available to my team in the strong room during the collation of the results from the regional level.
My lords, we respectfully ask for leave for him to
my lords,
memory by reference to those documents.
My lords, those 16 regional summary sheets are not part of any of the exhibits in this case. He cannot refer to them.
He participated.
My lord, I'm saying that as a matter of law. A party cannot refer to a document that is not in evidence to answer a question. It is not the right way to go.
A witness is in the box, especially in matters which we have to resort to documentary evidence. There may be a mass of evidence and the witness may not have ready knowledge of everything. If he had something to do with it, it is allowable.
It is true that the witness cannot be expected.
But he's not a witness from nowhere. He is on oath as having said that.
My lord,
he took part as agent for the petitioner in the strong room. He probably had access to these documents coming from summary sheets and the rest coming from, obviously.
My lords, my point is we do not know whether the document he's referring to is an official document. It is a say so, and we do not know because it is not a document exhibited in these proceedings.
Yes. Oh,
because the witness is not a stranger to the proceedings or what's happening at the strong.
Yes, my lords, now the issue that we have at hand is that the petitioner refused to put any evidence before the court. Now the witness, with the greatest respect, the witness there says that he has the summary sheets. With the greatest respect, I would want him to tell us. He should tell us, my lords.
In other words,
yes, my lord.
In other words, you have no objection to him referring to what he claims to be his summary sheets.
Yes, my lord. Yes.
So let's go on.
He should go ahead. Tell us. Tell us the summary sheets that you signed and those that you didn't sign. Right. My lord, respectfully, counsel for the first respondent says he has no objection, but I believe counsel for the second respondent raised an objection, and I believe your lordships may want to consider that, and your lordships may wish to hear me. Your lordships may wish to hear me on that. Your lordships will notice that
before I even asked your lordship's leave, I asked him what documents he's referring to. And he said the 16 summary sheets. And I asked him where he got it from. And he said he got it from the EC. So, my lords, it is clear that those are documents that he is swearing on oath are official documents. The fact that they are not in evidence has nothing to do with the witness refreshing his memory by reference to those documents.
Yes.
So answer the question.
My lords, very well. The answer to the question are in two parts. They are in two parts. There are some documents that I signed or certified, and they are Upper West Region. Upper West Region.
Region by agent. Upper West Region. Your agent had signed on that form, not so? The regional agent had signed on that form 12, not so?
The Upper West Region, yes, the NDC agent in the person of Mohammed Ilyasu signed, and the summary sheet was officially signed at 3:26 p.m. on the 8th of December.
Yeah, Mr. Amanibo, I was reminding you, see, the question you asked a specific question to give you the summary sheets which he signed as a result of a mistake, and those he signed because he didn't want to, maybe create or place impediments. Now, he is doing so. Then after mentioning one, you stop him and then ask another question. You see, when you do that, you confuse the witness. Let the witness answer the question to the end. Then after that, maybe you can take them region by region, please.
Well, my lords. Please go.
My lords, may I continue?
Yes.
My lords, I also observed that
Mr. Metununu.
Yes, sir.
You are to tell the court the forms that you certified by mistake and those that you certified because you didn't want to put spokes in the works. That is what you are supposed to do. Well, I am the questioner. My lords, respectfully, there's nowhere in the witness statement where he says, I signed some because I didn't want to put spokes.
Mr. Chikata, that was a question that was on the table, and that's what we are waiting for the answer. I beg your pardon, hold on, may I finish, Mr. Chikata? Paragraph 21 of his witness statement, he says, I must also say that the fact that I signed sheets in respect of a number of regions shows clearly that my colleague and I were not there to put spokes in the wheel of the process of getting the proper basis for constitutionally appropriate declaration of the results of the presidential election to be made. And this is the paragraph that was read out to him. And so this is the answer, this is the question that my ears are open to hear the answer to. Could you kindly let the witness give us an answer?
Well, but in question by misleading the witness in terms of what is in that paragraph, because he says, tell us which he signed because he didn't want to put spokes in the wheel. The witness never said that.
That is the question he asked him.
He can say so. The witness can say so.
Please, proceed.
My lords, so in respect of Upper West Region, the fax was also received.
No, you have spoken about Upper West. Can you go to the next region? Go to the next region.
I'm giving you the basis on which I signed some and the basis on which I did not sign some.
I did not ask.
That was the question.
You have given the court two reasons. One, you signed by mistake. Two, you did not want to put spokes in the works. You are telling the court The one that you signed by your momentous mistake. The second, the one that you signed because you didn't want to put spokes in the works. You have dealt with Upper West. Can we go to the next?
And I'm responding, my lords. I'm answering the question because there are some that have specific issues. I indicated in my statement that I had problems with the system of the EC. The system was not working. You have a situation where
Mr. Metonono.
Yes, my lord. Yes, my lord.
To help us to arrive at a decision that is premised on proper records. You have been asked the question. There are 16 regions. Please group the two answers into regions, and then you can move on, please.
Very well, my lord. Very well, my lord. So the Upper West region, I signed on the face of the summary without any confirmation of the constituency results that make up that summary. But I signed that one. That's Upper West region.
Go to the next region.
Northern region. Northern region, I had problems with that one. I had problems with Northern region.
So you didn't certify that one? You didn't certify Northern region?
I was taking up issue with the EC.
You did not certify Northern region. Please answer the question. You did not certify Northern region. Is that correct?
No, I did not certify Northern region.
So let's go to the next.
Very well. Ahafo.
Yes, we are waiting for you.
I certified Ahafo without having full access to the relevant constituency summary sheets that led to this summary, but I signed it.
What other region? You have mentioned 3.
Central region.
Yes.
I signed Central region, but I had serious observations on the summary sheets in the way it was signed. Because if I'm permitted to show it in evidence,
you certify that
it will become very
clear.
clear.
To the next region. Let's go on to the next.
Okay, very well. Volta region.
Yes.
Volta. I certified Volta region.
Good. Let's go
again without the full complement of confirmation of the various constituency results.
Fine. Let's go on to the next.
Western North region. I signed Western North region, but we had issues with Setri also.
Yes. Okay. Let's go on to the next.
I did not certify Greater Accra region.
Good. Let's go on to the next.
Because there were issues with the Greater Accra region summary sheets and how they came into the strong room.
Let's go on to the next.
Eastern region. Eastern region. In the case of Eastern region, we received 2 different summary sheets in the strong room.
Did you certify Eastern or you did not?
I did, but I was raising subsequent issues with the commissioner, and this was one of the regions with which I had issue. Eastern region, there were two results sent to the EC strong room. 2 results.
Your evidence in chief.
The law provides for only one summary sheet.
Listen to me. You have said so in your evidence in chief. Your 2 previous colleagues have spoken about it. Your answer to the question is that you certified Extinzan also.
Can you repeat the question, please?
Go to the next region.
Pardon?
Go to the next region.
Does it mean you are not asking the question on
the? With my answer, go to the next region.
Very well. Bono East.
Yes.
We had issues with Bono East.
Did you certify or not?
Bono East was one of the summary sheets I did not sign. I'm answering the question. Can you be patient with me?
Okay, so
I did not sign Bono East. I did not sign Bono East.
Let's go on to the next region.
OT region. I did not. I observed some issues with OT.
Or you did not? OT.
But I certified. But I observed some challenges with OT. But I signed.
Let's go on to the next. Let's go on to the next.
Western region.
Yes.
I certified, but I drew attention to the EC to some anomalies which they corrected.
Let's go on to the next.
I signed.
Yes, good. Let's go on to the next.
I believe I've done Central region already.
You have. Let me assist you what is left. We have Northeast, Bono, Upper East.
Okay. Northeast. Northeast. I signed, but we had issues with the summation.
No problem. Now, Bono. Bono.
I signed Bono, but we had issues. I signed Bono, but we had issues.
Fantastic. Let's go.
German
Upper East. Upper East.
Upper East.
Savannah.
I signed Upper East region.
Great. Now let's go to Savannah.
Without the full complement of the confirmation from the constituencies.
Yes, so that is no worries. Let's go to Savannah.
Come again.
Let's go to Savannah.
Savannah.
Order in court, please. Order.
My lords, I cannot immediately find Savannah.
You cannot immediately? You are not talking about the now, we are talking about the then. Did you sign Savannah?
My lords, I wish to remind you that I said I needed to refresh my memory by looking at the very document before me. And if I cannot find Savannah, you're asking me to recall? I've just told you that I needed to refresh my memory by looking at the fiscal documents.
Have you found Savannah amongst your documents?
I believe I told your lordship that I was looking for Savannah.
All right, look for it. I'll wait for you.
Very well.
Are you waiting for me or I'm waiting for you? Look, let me put it to you so we move on. I am putting it to you that you certified Savannah and your agent called Mumuni S. Ibni signed on that form in the region before it came to Accra. I'm putting that to you. I need an answer so I can move on.
My lords, I have some issue with the microphone here. Can you please repeat the question?
I am saying that I am putting it to you that you certified Savannah and your agent in the region called Mumuni S. Ibni signed at the region before it came to the national.
That is correct.
Good. Now, the forms that you have before you, you know, on the right side where they sign, there's a column that if you would not sign, you need to give reasons. Well,
and the relief with which declare the results. That's why we court.
Mr. Witness,
we are specifically
the court will determine the reliefs.
My lords, we can't have the lawyers speaking. This is
all right, go on.
I'm saying that yes, there is a provision for reasons if you refuse to sign. There are reasons if you refuse to sign. But I'm saying that even the EC's own officials certified various summary sheets in error. The blame is not only on party representatives and agents. the official representatives of the returning officer also certify results. They were not just there to just fill forms and forward it. They were there to make sure that the result of what was being forwarded was accurate and was not giving the opportunity for votes that had been cast to be lost in the declaration.
So speak for yourself. You are by this telling the court that your agents, including you, failed the petitioner monumentally by signing forms when they shouldn't sign, failing to assign reasons when they should. I am putting that to you.
That is incorrect. That is incorrect. Because on many occasions in the strong room even, the EC itself and its officials found the need to amend summary sheets of the regions. These had already been signed by the regional representatives, but they found it necessary to cause the various results to be re-amended without the presence of our agents. Without the presence of our agents. And it's for that reason that the returning officer, who is Jean Mensah, was expected to give an opportunity for redress before the final declaration. And that is why we went to seek audience with her. So, apart from the 4 regional summary sheets that I did not sign, apart from the 4 regional sheets that I did not sign, we later on discovered, for example, that there were other regions that had issues. And if they had been minded to have that amended, we would not be in this situation we are in now.
Right.
Dr. Afarijan gave opportunity in the past for some of these things to be rectified. He did. He gave opportunity for these things to be rectified.
Mr. Metununu, you recall that you indicated to the court that you have familiarized yourself with the rules under CI 127, not so?
That is correct.
Are you well aware that CI 127 revoked the arrangements that used to be the practice under Afarijan, as you have said? Are you aware?
It did not entirely revoke that. It said that in the new amendment and in the new arrangement, you must still maintain best practices. They didn't throw out everything in the previous thing. They said you must have best practices. Best practices.
Good. When did you leave the strong room for the second time on the 9th?
I left the strong room. The first time I left the strong room was when the EC sacked me from the strong room. That was the first time I left the room.
When was this?
The EC sacked me from the strong room.
When was this?
It had never happened before.
When was
In
this?
previous elections, I stayed there for 72 hours.
When was this?
That I left the strong room for the second time.
For the second time, that's what I'm asking you.
I left the strong room the second time to seek audience with the electoral commissioner. That was when. Come again.
The time of the day.
It was somewhere between 3 o'clock and 4 o'clock.
On what day?
But you have already said it's on the 9th. It's on the 9th.
Well, if you are being rude, it's to the court, not to me.
No, you made the question. You said that on the 9th, when was the second time you left the room? And I'm answering. Then you are trying to, divert me to make some other statement. You are talking about the 9th, and I'm responding to you on the 9th that I left the room for the second time between 3 and 4.
At the time you were leaving, had you seen the forms for the northern region? The regional
by the time I was leaving, yes, I had seen the forms for the northern region, and I had issues with the forms for the northern region, yes, and that was one of the reasons I went to see the commissioner.
You had earlier told the court that you didn't sign that form, that is fine. But I just want to find out from you whether at the time you were leaving, you had seen the form from the Northern region. Now, I believe that you answered that you had seen the form.
I can also tell you exactly the time I saw the forms.
Okay, that'll be fine. Tell us.
Northern region forms were faxed to the strong room at 3:47 p.m. Sorry, yeah, p.m. 3:47 p.m.
On what day?
On the 9th. On the 9th. On the 9th.
Thank you very much. So, at the time that you were leaving the strong room, all the original sheets had come. I am putting that to you. All had come. The Northern was the last to come. I'm putting that to you.
As correct summary sheets.
As the summary sheets. You had seen all of them.
There's a distinction that has to be made.
Please answer my question. Leave the distinction for the
then that is not correct, because Greater Accra was outstanding. Eastern region was outstanding, to the best of my knowledge.
No.
Bono was out. No, just a minute. In terms of correct summary sheets, you can fax something to the strong room, but it may not be correct. And the issue you raised here is
Metal. Please listen, Metal Nunu, sorry. Please, this is a very simple question. Go straight to the point. He's not asking you genuine or whatever, or correct or incorrect or whatever. He's asking you a very simple question. Let's try and make some headway.
I repeat that at the time that you were living after 3:47 p.m. when the Northern sheet had come, all the 16 original summary sheets had come, and you had seen them.
All the 16.
Yes.
All the 16.
Yes.
That is correct.
Thank you.
Even though we had issues.
Thank you.
With some of the summary sheets.
Now the petitioner has always had a problem with the chairperson of the EC, not so?
I do not exactly know what you mean by that.
When the chairperson of the EC was appointed, the petitioner and your party raised issues with that appointment. Is that not so?
My who and my who? I didn't hear the question.
I said the petitioner and your party, the NDC party.
I heard anti. That is why I said who. I didn't hear party. I heard
NDC party.
Order in court, please. Order.
You had issues. You raised issues with her appointment, not so?
Not that I recall.
Good.
Not that I recall.
Okay. And when the EC decided to have a new register, your party took the matter to court, not so?
I read that in the news.
Now, prior to the 7th December elections, your party variously raised issues about the performance of the chairperson of the EC, not so?
Can you repeat the question, please?
I'm saying that prior the events, the timing leading to the 7th December elections, your party and the petitioner raised issues about the performance of the chairperson of the EC, not so?
That I do recall.
Do you recall that?
Yes, I do. In great detail. In great detail.
Good. Now, in spite of that, you want this court and the people of Ghana to believe that the person that you have distrusted so much tells you to leave the strong room and go to the petitioner, and you left, both of you. Huh? Tell us.
My lords, there are two different issues here. I was asked by the petitioner to represent him with a team. I was there with Dr. Pesawai to represent him in a very specific mandate. The presidential candidate, in spite of all the things you've said, did not say he was withdrawing from the poll because of all the things you've alluded to. He still took part in the elections. And as required by law, the returning officer was also supposed to be an independent returning officer, to be fair, to be transparent, and to run an election with integrity. So under those three principles, I was asked to go into the strong room to defend his interests to the best of my ability.
At IPAC, it was decided that each political party or each candidate will have at least 4 accreditations, with 2 in the strong room at every point in time. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Good. So it means that at the time that you were leaving to the petitioner's residence, you had 2 backup people who could represent the petitioner in the strong room, not so?
My lords, let me put it on record that on the 9th, no strong room activity was ongoing, and at the time that I went to see the electoral commissioner, we had 4 regions that had not been dealt with. We also had a situation where the commissioner herself, performing her functions as the returning officer, directed the 2 of us to go and send a message to the petitioner. So long as he left, the functions of the representatives could not continue, because the other 2 would not have the same appreciation of the specific issues that we were dealing with. It's not like a relay race where you just hand over a baton. You must deal with the specific issues.
So you agree with me?
And she was minded by that. She knew that we were not in the strong room. She knew that she had directed us to leave, and she told us that she would give us a police escort to bring us back in time if we had traffic challenges. She knew.
You see, I am asking you again that at the time that you left, you had the opportunity to have 2 other people represent you in the strong room. Yes or no?
And I've answered you as follows: that in as much as we had 2 opportunities to replace the representatives, the specific issues for which he left the strong room were such that any other two people would not have the same appreciation of the issues, and therefore they could not continue to perform the functions as representatives of the petitioner in the strong room.
Now,
and that is a statement of fact.
So you are saying that in spite of the fact that it was agreed that you could replace, you in leaving decided not to be replaced. That is the case, not so?
That is not the case. In the case of the MPP, you had Magmeno, John Bwedu, and so many other people in the strong room, even though two people were supposed to have been only in the strong room at the time. Why is it that they were permitted to be in the room? Why were they permitted to be in the room?
Your answer reminds me of the parable. Anyway, my lords, I leave it. I leave it. Now, in your evidence in chief, you stated that you had been at the EC headquarters for 3 days and somebody brought you change of clothing, not so? A shirt.
That is correct.
Now, in the same witness statement, you said that when I arrived on the 9th, you said so, that when I arrived on the 9th, let me just go through it.
Which specific item are you dealing with?
Yes. The first paragraph I referred to was paragraph 26. The second one, paragraph 22. Paragraph
22.
Yes.
Yeah.
You said the beginning says that it was in the light of the experiences of different regional certification processes and the posture of the EC officials in the strong room on the 9th that on behalf of my colleagues and myself I sought to consult with the EC. I also needed to receive feedback on the conveys the previous day, particularly I had learned from the officials, particularly as I had learned from officials at the NDC headquarters before I got to the EC headquarters on the 9th. So you see that.
Yes, I've seen that.
Good. The two conflicting portions of your witness statement, can you clarify the court? Where were you coming from? On the 9th, where were you coming from?
In the early hours of the 9th, I was sacked from the EC strong room, and I had to drive from Accra all the way to Committee 25, where I reside. This was around 2 a.m. of the 9th. I then had to wake up very early and go through another 2 hours of traffic on that eastern corridor back to the EC office.
So, I'll leave this point. It is clear that you have not been a truthful witness, even on your own evidence in chief. I'm putting it to you that your evidence in chief is full of untruths, and if they are true, they are half-truths. I'm putting that to you.
Lord, with the greatest respect, the witness has not been shown untruths in his testimony such that the witness was just given an example. One example, when I arrived on the morning, the witness explained clearly he had to drive and so on.
It's not any damaging question. No, you always put to witness that he's not being truthful. Yes. So please let it go.
Do you recall that on the 9th as well? Please, can you answer the question?
What is the question?
The question to you is that even in your witness statement, you have told the court untruths and half-truths. I put it to you.
That is absolutely untrue. Absolutely untrue.
Now,
I swore on oath to tell the truth, and I told the court nothing but the truth.
Now, do you recall that on the 9th, you granted again an interview to your favorite Kwesi Parker Wilson at the NDC headquarters?
Yes, I do recall.
Now, you recall you said...
That was, yes.
You recall you said this, among others. Because I don't have the documentation in front of me, it is becoming a challenge for you to appreciate what I am saying, but create another opportunity for me and my other colleague in the EC, and we will show Ghanaians and the global community the fraud that has been perpetrated on the people of Ghana. Let me emphasize, President Nana Akufo-Addo did not win the presidential election. He did not. He did not. And I repeat emphatically, he did not. I was in the EC. I was representing the party in the EC. And I'm saying that on the face of the evidence provided, Nana Addo Dankwa did not win the election. You recall that?
Yes, and where in that statement does it show that I'm contradicting myself in terms of time?
No,
where?
I didn't ask you.
Mr. Rojo, please come straight. He is asking you whether you did grant that interview. It's very simple, you recall.
Yes, the answer is I granted the interview, yes. I granted the interview.
Now, I am putting it to you that even as of today that you are testifying, you have brought no such proof to the court. I'm putting it to you.
It's not a part.
My Lord. Well. I am putting it to you that even as you speak, the petitioner has not brought any such proof to the court.
My lords, the petitioner is seeking very specific reliefs of the court. And the statement and interview I granted is not in evidence because the legal arguments of the petitioner does not require that at this stage. It's not one of the pleadings. He is specifically asking the returning officer to declare the true results of the 2020 poll. The 2020 poll. One declaration. And so the petitioner's response for me as a witness was to show my performance and presence in the EC strong room. That is what I was supposed to address.
Oh, we'll come to that. Mr. Robert Joseph Metonunu, you say in paragraph 31 of your witness statement that you are a veteran of the strong room since 1992, not so?
The longest serving representative of any political party.
Great. Now, is it the first time you have left your post to consult with your candidate, or you have engaged in the practice previously?
It is not the first time. It is not the first time. In my engagement with previous returning officers of the presidential poll, I had had occasion to leave the strong room to go and speak to a person I was representing in the strong room. And then I returned with the understanding that I had been sent to do so. And in this particular instance, I had also been sent to do so.
Oh, so you want the court to believe that various chairpersons of the EC send you and you obey? Is that the position?
As and when it was necessary to do so. As and when, in order to resolve the issues. For example, in time, in the election that took us to time, it was a result of the consultative process that was available to us that brought all the political parties to a meeting called by the EC chair to agree that the only way to resolve the issue of the deadlock was to have a by-election, a runoff in time.
And at all times when you are living, all of you, all the representatives or the agents of the candidate in the strong room leave without any backup representation. That is what you want this country to believe, and also.
That is the case, and that is what my testimony says. Okay. That is the case.
Now, you say that you identified issues in the strong room, not so? You identified issues that needed resolution in the strong room, not so?
Correct.
Now, should you not, as a representative of the candidate, not be in the strong room to do the work you are assigned to do?
Can you repeat that question again?
Should you not, as a representative of the candidate in the strong room, should you not have stayed in the strong room to do the work that he assigned you to do?
My lords, in the strong room, the activities of the presidential representative is to cooperate with the EC for the declaration of the true results. And as a team leader of the group, it was my responsibility to consult Dr. Sribopak. I consulted Mr. Tete, and then I also went to consult with the commissioner. And in all those situations, the EC's offices were not in one place. I spoke to Sribopak in the strong room. I spoke to Mr. Tete in Jean Mensah's office. And I spoke to Jean Mensah in her office.
Okay, that reminds me. When you went to Jean Mensah's office to speak to the people that you are speaking about, was she the one who invited you, or you left the strong room of your own volition?
I informed Dr. Sribopak that I was going to see the commissioner. I also informed Mr. Tete that I was going to see the commissioner. I did. And then when I made the phone call to Jean Mensah, she invited me to come.
The question is, when you left the strong room to go and meet with the commissioner in her office, it was of your own volition, your own free will. Is that not so?
It was not just a simple matter of my own free will. It was a function of me being a representative of a presidential candidate. And in order to do my work properly, officially, it's not about my own free will. I was performing an official function. It's not about my own free will. I was performing an official function.
When you went, you were in that secretariat for close to 3 hours. Is that not so?
Because I was told to wait.
Answer the question.
I was told
in that secretariat for
I was
3 hours.
told to wait, and it is for that reason that I was shown the reception area to her office, and I kept on waiting until 10. She asked me to wait for her in her office reception.
Mr. Chikata, may I have your attention? Please, can you let your witness be very, very, very specific or brief on some of these simple issues? Very, 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 very simple. I don't know where he's dragging this. He was asking a simple question.
My Lord, I do not wish to interfere with the answers of the witness.
Yeah, I know. The witness is your witness. Here to help the court to elicit information to help us arrive at the truth.
Yes, my Lord, if you take the answer that he was in the process of giving, he says you were there for 3 hours, and he says he was there
Mr. Mengo, you go on.
Tell us how long you were there for.
I didn't hear the question.
Tell the court how long you were in the secretariat for.
Oh, it was a considerable length of time. It was a considerable length of time.
Yes.
Because the commissioner was not there, and
you had left the strong room, not so?
That is correct.
And even whilst there, you were offered tea and biscuits, not so?
I was offered tea. I wasn't offered any biscuits.
Order in court, please. Order, please.
I am putting it to you that on that occasion, as well as the 4 p.m. when you left the strong room, you did so on your own free will and volition.
That is not correct. It was not on my own free will.
Now, I am putting to you that all the grievances stated in your witness statements are afterthoughts. They are afterthoughts. I am putting that to you.
That is not correct. The process of function in the strong room is a process. It's a process. And the issues that I was going to discuss with the EC Commissioner are issues arising out of the performance of my function in the strong room. How can they be afterthoughts?
I am further putting it to you.
They be afterthoughts?
I am further putting it to you that you couch them after you heard the wobbly testimonies of the first and second witnesses of the petitioner. I'm further putting it to you.
That is not correct. I am giving a testimony of my own performance as a team member representing the flag bearer. That is not correct.
You see, your witness statement and the evidence you have given is a bad explanation for the bad job that you did for the petitioner.
You are being judgmental. That is not fact. You are being judgmental. I was performing a function, and I was supposed to protect the interest of my candidate, my presidential candidate. And I did it based on my knowledge, past experience, and a certain sense of high maturity in the strong room. If I misconducted myself, this country would be in war by now. You need to appreciate that. It was my mature handling, my very mature handling of the situation. And don't forget, the EC chair said that she was going to declare the results in 24 hours. She said she was going to declare the results in 24 hours. And there were so many anomalies so many anomalies.
Mr. Metonunu, having delivered your lecture, I want you to come back and answer my question. I'm saying that your witness statement is a bad explanation for the bad job you did for the petitioner.
And I'm saying that is not correct. You are not the chief examiner here. That is not correct.
Now, in order to hide your shortcomings, you went to the petitioner and to your party faithful and fed them untruths. I'm putting that to you.
My lord, it is your client that you are representing. It is your client that is being untruthful. She is supposed to declare credible election results. She has declared multiple results. It is your client that is being untruthful to the people of Ghana, to the people of this republic.
Please listen to the question and answer. It's a very straightforward answer. Yes, he is asking you. He is putting it to you that we are not being truthful. Period.
And I said, I'm being truthful. I said, your lord, I said, I'm being truthful. And because he also preempted the statement with all those innuendos, and the fact that he was trying to impugn my integrity, I'm telling him that it is his client who is not being untruthful, and is not telling the people of Ghana the true result of the elections.
You recall the 2008 conduct in the strong room. You remember?
Yes, I do remember.
When you said that I am Rojo Metonunu, and that if Kwabena Jepon didn't take his time, you were going to go at him one-on-one. You remember?
That is correct. And I told him that in the face because he was trying to change the results.
You see, I am putting it to you that character of yours is what you have just displayed for the court.
I have a temperament for fairness. I have a temperament for telling the truth. I have a temperament that makes me want to fight to defend the integrity of my name.
You have a temperament known as ungovernable character. My lord, that will be all.
My lord, do I have the right to respond?
Yes, my lord. Any cross-examination? Definitely, my lords. Mr. We will let you. We can take about an hour and a half, and then we will rise so that the witness may have the opportunity to also rest for some time. No. Please sit down. Yes, we cannot let him undergo cross-examination for continuous, several hours. Yes. My lords, we understand that. Now, Mr. Metonunu, I trust you are well.
I am trying very well to respond to the court, but I am quite sick and I'm just getting better slowly.
believe that it was after the declaration of 9th December and the press release of 10th that the petitioner decided to challenge the declared results. Is that so?
Prior to the declaration.
No, you are not listening to my question. So it is after.
I answered your question.
Please,
I answered your question.
Mr. Metal Nuno. My question was, it was after these two events that you decided to challenge the results in court. That's the question.
Well, in that regard, yes.
So
but prior to the declaration,
please.
No, but prior to the declaration,
please, Mr. Metonunu,
the petitioner had sought to have audience
Mr.
for the concerns he addressed.
My Lord, may I ask that when he goes on a merry-go-round of his own, those portions should be struck out. They are not an answer to my question. And Mr. Metonunu, let me advise you that you are before the Supreme Court, and when I put a question to you, the court expects you to answer the question, not to set up your own question and run around with it. So please listen carefully to my questions and answer them. Now,
my Lord, can I be clear? My Lord, can I be clear? If I answer a question with an initial statement and I need to throw more light on that answer, am I not permitted to do so?
You are not permitted to run irrelevant commentaries. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Now.
But how do you determine irrelevant commentaries?
Now, Mr. Metonunu, this decision to go to court was after a number of civil society organizations and faith groups and prominent public voices had urged the petitioner to go to court if he did not accept the results of the declared elections.
I believe you also remember that the petition said you would not accept the fraud results.
You see, you have not answered my question. So please be respectful of the court and answer my question.
The question again.
I said the petitioner took the decision to go to court after a number of civil society organizations, faith groups, and prominent public voices had urged him to go to court if he did not accept the results of the declared elections.
That is not correct.
So the petitioner went to court before these calls on it. That's what you are suggesting.
The petitioner went to court on his own volition.
Now, I believe as a person with considerable experience in the former strong room, which is today called the National Coalition Center, you played an important role in the preparation of this petition. Is that right?
That is correct.
Can you tell the court?
No, hold on. The question again.
Now, Mr. Metonunu, can you tell the court exactly when the decision was taken by the petitioner to go to court?
I do not know exactly when the petitioner took the decision to go to court. I do not know exactly when he decided to go to court. I do not know that for a fact.
But you
I do know that he took a decision that at a certain time to go to court.
Around what time then, if you don't know the exact time? Around what time?
I am not privy to that because you recall I have not been very well, so I'm not privy to that.
No. I also believe that the information you gave to the petitioner as to what happened in the strong room certainly contributed to the drafting of some of the paragraphs of the petition. Not so?
Some of the paragraphs
of the petition.
Of the petitioner.
Of the petition. We are in court because of the petition. You don't understand?
I'm asking that issue the petition.
You heard my question, so yes, but you heard the question.
Yeah, you can.
Yes,
you can. It's all,
that is what I mean. That is what I mean. You made an input. You, Mr. Yes. And right from the beginning, you were one of the witnesses the petitioner intended to call. Is that not correct?
That is one of the witnesses that was going to call?
Yes. Of course you
I have no idea who is going to call by the legal team. I have no idea.
Very well. So, when did you get to know that the petitioner was interested in calling you as a witness?
The legal team was finding out about my health condition.
Please.
And I cannot recall exactly when they called me, but there was an interaction with the legal team about my health and whether I would be able to do it. But I can't recall exactly when that happened.
Was it in late December, early January?
I really do not recall.
Really? I'm putting it to you that you have deliberately refused to recall when, because you are seeking to avoid telling the court the truth on this matter, on the subject matter of your witness statement and how it came about.
Can you repeat what you said?
Mr. Matemunu, I would plead that you listen. I'm saying, putting it to you, that you have deliberately refused to tell the court when you got to know that you were going to be a witness in this case, because you seek to hide that factor, the circumstances surrounding your giving a witness statement in this matter. That's what I'm putting to you.
I'm refusing because I want to hide the circumstances around my being a witness.
Yes.
Your Lordship, you know me for many years. You know me to have a dubious character.
Indeed.
No, do you know me to have a dubious character?
Mr. Matenunu.
Please don't answer their questions with the question.
No, I'm waiting for your answer.
I I am not hiding behind any condition of mine. I am not.
Okay. Are we free to address your conditions of health? With your consent, of course. That's what I mean.
Counsel for the petitioner informed us that the witness under oath was not also unwell, and we decided to, come to terms with the situation.
That is so.
That is why we are going through this.
My Lord,
have been here.
That's why I respectfully, my Lord, if I may.
So let's keep this. Let's keep this.
If I may be please be heard. The petitioner, in a letter dated 3rd February, the witness, 2021, states that I am waiving my right to privacy so that all my testimony is in public. And I want to know whether that waiver covers the conditions of his health. I want to understand. If it covers, if it doesn't, I don't have a problem. But if it does, then I'll be able, I can deal with that matter.
She wouldn't mind if it is on live telecast. That is my understanding. Maybe I'm wrong. So please, let's avoid this.
Very well, my Lord. Now, can you tell the court on 3rd February where you were? 3rd February 2021, where you were?
3rd February?
Yes.
I went for a medical review.
So where were you coming from to the medical review? That's what I mean.
That is the Kolebu Teaching Hospital.
Please, Mr. Metonunu, I'm asking, where did you come from to go to Kolebu? Where did you come from?
Where did I come from?
Yes.
I came from home.
Good. So, can you tell the court, how long have you been living at home since your condition?
Which specific medical condition are you referring to? Because I have several health challenges.
Very well. So, on the 4th of February 2021, I believe you were still at your personal residence.
Mr. Twampao, where is this leading to? Is it really necessary? Is it directed at something? Where is this leading to?
Yeah. How questions are framed, the answers to it, so that we can, have an informed opinion about some.
My lords, we are seeking to demonstrate to the court that the explanation given for this very belated witness statement is a ruse. That's what we are seeking to do. I'm not disputing that, my lord.
For this witness statement to come after this,
Now, very well, my lord. Now, I believe that from the beginning of February, you had access to the media, radio, TV, online streaming, didn't you?
I had access to
the media. You could listen to radio, you could watch TV, you should go online.
That is not entirely true. I needed to renew my DSTV license, and so I didn't have access to that one.
So, I'm furthermore putting it to you that you did listen to radio.
No, I do not listen to radio.
Good. So are you suggesting to this court that you had no interest in what was going on in this petition?
That is not correct. The fact that I don't watch television or listen to radio doesn't mean I'm not interested in the proceedings.
No, so you agree that you were interested in what was going on in the proceedings here?
Absolutely. As a representative of the petitioner in the strong room, I'm interested in the proceedings. I'm interested. Very, very interested.
So you heard the proceedings as they unfolded in this court?
Some of them, not all. Some of them.
Yeah.
But Mr. Abutampa,
yes, my lord.
What is the position of the law? Assuming even he sat here,
yes,
and
my lord,
and and heard the evidence.
Yes.
Does it disqualify him
at all? But please, my lord, but it enables the court to take note of that it was a witness that had heard the proceedings before testifying. That is the important thing. That is the very important thing I'm trying to drive at. And we all know that this is a matter that the court will and must take into consideration. The witness that sits in court hears the proceedings and then comes to give evidence. Now, I want you to explain to this court how come your original witness statement of truth referred to paragraphs 1 to 22.
Mr. Kutempa, we've gone beyond that. You see, the permission was sought for amendment, and we accordingly granted it.
Yes, I'm aware.
You see, you are a veteran in this job. Do you allow your witnesses to prepare this statement of truth? No, I'm asking you as a lawyer of some standing.
Yes.
Do you prepare this statement of truth, or you allow the witnesses to prepare?
My lord, the last time
answer that question.
We don't, but I make sure the witness reads what we prepared.
No, but petty errors may occur, and they occur on a regular basis. That is why we allowed this amendment to be granted. So we've gone beyond that.
My lords, I'm most grateful that the court recognizes the occurrence of petty errors. Now, of your witness statement, that quote, Dr. Kwesi White and I, on many occasions, pointed out errors in figures and words on the sheets that were brought, which ultimately affected totals and assigned results. Now, when the petitioner filed his petition, the only problems he complained about were the complaints in his Exhibit B attached to the petition, the alleged padding complained of in Exhibit F, Exhibit and his Exhibit, I believe, E.
How can the witness have access to the pleadings?
Well, the witness,
he said he gave information for the preparation. That was what I understood him. But looking at the pleading, how many witnesses would have access to the pleadings settled by counsel?
My Lord,
no, in fairness to the witness.
My Lord, the witness has not said he is unable
but you see,
to answer this question.
Well, go on.
My Lord,
excuse me, is to also protect every witness who comes to testify. Yes.
My Lord, indeed, the witness has made clear that he had an input, but he does not know the details of what the lawyers did. I think he gave an answer to that effect. And this question is referring to exhibits and so on in the pleadings. And I do not think that it's appropriate for the witness to be asked questions in relation to a petition. If he wants me to go into the witness box to answer questions about how the pleadings were made, we can determine whether
I take very serious objection to this snide remark. No, I take very serious objection to it.
My Lord, I will avoid sarcasm, and I take that back. I take that back. But my Lord,
Now, you know that the original secretary in Ashanti clearly indicated that they had no problems with Ashanti region results, but rather rejoiced at the results. Don't you?
The question again, please.
I said, you know that the regional secretary, that is the NDC regional secretary for Ashanti, had stated in public that he had no problems with the results of Ashanti region, but rather he rejoiced at the results.
I am not aware that the regional secretary for Ashanti has made any such statement. I'm not aware.
But you are again aware that present at the Regional Coalition Center at Ashanti.
I said I'm not aware. So how can I be again aware? I said I'm not aware.
Matilunu, he's asking another question. So please don't lose focus. Yes, listen. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. He's asking another question.
You are again aware that present at the Regional Coalition Center of Ashanti were stalwarts of your party, including Mrs. Betty Mould Idrisu. Not so?
I knew she was in Ashanti region, but I didn't know she was present at that particular time in the regional whatever coalition center. I have no knowledge of that.
And I'm putting it to you that she did not complain about the figures of Ashanti.
I am not aware of that. I am not. And she was not the returning officer. Sorry, she was not the representative of the region in that regard.
That the complaints that the petitioner has in respect of Ashanti region related to only 4 constituencies. I'm putting it to you.
That is not correct.
And I'm furthermore putting it to you that the numbers involved were a mere 534 votes. A mere 534 votes.
That again is not correct.
And furthermore put it to you that this number had no material effect on the overall outcome of the presidential election.
To start with, I don't know where you're getting these figures from. And I have no way of confirming that the figures and the source of the data is correct. I have no idea where you're getting these figures from.
Now, one of your complaints in your witness statement relates to the Eastern Region summary sheet. Is that not correct?
That is correct.
Now, you will notice that your complaint was that there were 2 summary sheets, one signed by the NDC and other agents of the other candidates, and the other, those signed by agents of some of the other candidates, was not signed by NDC.
Yes, there were 2 summary sheets presented. Two summary sheets presented. One was signed by the NDC, and the other was not signed. That is correct.
Now, I'm putting it to you that the fact that the other summary sheet was not signed by the NDC does not prevent the chair of the EC to rely on it, provided they were signed by other parties.
Is it not a question of law?
Well, but he makes a case out of it. That is the point. So,
now, my lords, if I may, that exactly is the issue that we were raising. That on many occasions, the EC permitted the resubmission.
Intervened.
Yes.
to expunge the question. So there's no question now. So listen to counsel.
There's no question to be answered.
Yeah, he will come back to you.
I'm sorry, my lord. I'm sorry.
Don't worry.
I'm extremely sorry.
Now, in paragraph 10 of your witness statement, you claim that the EC officials were applying double standards, correcting signed summary sheets from the regions on occasion, or refusing to correct others on the ground that the agents or the candidate had signed. Is that not it? Is that not
That is absolute point I'm making. Yes, that's the point I'm making in my statement.
Yes. I'm putting it to you that Dr. Pesa White, who was with you at the National Coalition Center, made no such reference in his witness statement.
Well, I wouldn't know what he said in his witness statement, but in my candid opinion, in fact, I was watching the fax machines, and on many occasions the fax machines were not attended to because no faxes were coming. And then suddenly you see something coming, and then you have to...
Please, Mr. Roger Metonono, at times you talk too much. Mr. Kutampa.
Yes, my lord.
I'm very sorry. I'm a politician and a former lecturer. That's why I'm like that. I'm sorry.
Then let me remind you, you are in a courtroom. So please mind the way you answer the questions. Mr. Kutampa, if two persons witness the same incident and you ask them to narrate what they witnessed, they will come with different stories. Naturally, it's natural. So the fact that one witness did not make mention of something, it doesn't mean another witness will make mention of the other thing.
Yes, my lord,
you understand it?
That is generally true. But where the matter is...
You see, also, it should be presumed that he doesn't have access to the witness statement of Dr. Pasawat.
Yes, but my lord, I'm putting it to him. So if he says he doesn't know, it's on record that he doesn't know. That's what I'm doing.
But the question must be, with due respect to me, a legitimate one.
Now, in any event, from your long experience since 1992 in the then strong room, now National Coalition Center, you know that even where agents of candidates disagree with the figure, the EC may go ahead and use the results to declare the elections. You know that from your experience.
That is not always the case. Good. In most cases, depending on who the returning officer is, you were giving an opportunity for correction before the final declaration. In this particular instance, the EC chair is not following best practices.
You see, I'm putting it to you that the agents of the parties cannot compel the EC to do their will.
The agents of the parties cannot compel the EC, that's correct. But that is why in the past we had an iPad. The iPad provided an opportunity for further stakeholder dialogue.
Now, we claim in paragraph 19 of your witness statement that you made a mistake when you signed the summary sheet in the strong room. Is that not so?
That is correct.
I'm putting it to you that whether or not you made a mistake, the EC was entitled to process that summary sheet.
That was not always.
Is it not a matter of law?
My lord, that was not always the case.
Oh, Mr. Metununu, please.
Yeah, I think there's a time lag.
Yes, I know. There's a problem. Some few seconds can. Yes, but I thought that it is covered by the CI.
What is covered by?
Your question.
Yes.
It is covered by the CI.
Yes.
Yes. Yes. You see.
Excuse me. My Lord, the witness, I'm relying on his experience, and my point is, the point I'm making.
And what his experience teaches us is the regulations in the CI. Yes, that is what we understand from the bench.
In other words, his experience does not surpass
the CI.
This CI.
Everything is in the.
We are guided by this.
Very well. Now, we refer in paragraph 17 of your witness statement to a difference of 1,707 votes between the original summary sheet presented to you in the strong room and the one published on the EC's website. Now, I'm putting it to you that 1,707 votes, even if true, do not have any material effect on the final outcome of the elections.
My lord, that is not correct. The electoral commissioner has not accounted. She has not accounted for the votes and how they were tabulated. She has not. A little drop of water makes a mighty ocean. So she has not established. She has not established the true number of votes cast and all that. She hasn't.
Now, you refer to Western North summary sheet in your petition, in your witness statement. And
Western North, that's correct.
And claim that the petitioner's agent refused to sign. That not so.
And claim that the petitioner did what?
The agent at the regional center did not sign.
Yeah, did not sign.
But you signed.
That is correct.
Good. Now, just for the education of the court and myself. What exactly was the information you were taking to former President Mahama, the petitioner? I'm not saying what message the EC chair gave you, but the substantive information you were taking to President Mahama, former President Mahama. What was that?
The specific message that I was directed sent.
Mr. Metonunu, I'm not asking you the message that anybody gave you. I'm saying what was the information that you were going to give to President Mahama on that day?
The information I was going to give related to anomalies that we had detected in the processing of summary sheets from the regions and how the collation process was taking place in the strong room. Anomalies in mathematics, anomalies in words, anomalies in totals and tallies. Yes, those were the issues.
So I'm suggesting to you that the EC chairperson could still have gone ahead with the processes of declaration, whether or not you sent any message or information to President Mahama about any anomalies.
My Lord, again, I think this is a question of law. I mean, it's clear. Mr. Kutapa.
Yes.
All rise.